Jerry Nard.
Alright, what's going on, my people? Welcome to the Sn95 Power channel. The humming sound you hear is my air scrubber right here. We are going to start prepping this hood. I've already cleaned it. I'm going straight to some 220 grit. I am not expecting this hood to be perfect. I haven't got the horse from the other garage, so that's kind of why I'm doing this right now. Turn this air scrubber up. And like I said, the only thing I'm doing is just hitting this with some 220 just to prep this hood to lay some primer. I'm not trying to get this flat. I'm just trying to prep the hood. All right, that's good on that side. Flip it, and I'll hit the underside. And that's it for as far as sanding.
Okay, we're at the build garage, and we're gonna mix up some primer. Now, this primer is called Eliminator from US Chemical. You mix the activator, half an ounce activator to 32 ounces of primer. Now, when you get this primer, it's very thick and you need to mix this stuff up real good. I like to put the activator in first, mix up the primer, and then I fill it up on my cup to 32 ounces. So half ounce activator to 32 ounces of primer. Always use a filter when you use, well, actually when you mix anything, I always use a filter. Again, I'm not a professional when it comes to this. I'm YouTube University. Again, before I put it in my spray cup, I use a filter. Now, this gun is a cheap Harbor Freight gun. I got the 2-year warranty on it because I am sure I'm going to need a replacement gun. Spray pattern is okay on it, especially considering that this is like a real thick primer. Always prep your surface before you spray. And when I first started spraying this, it didn't really lay very well. And there's a couple of reasons because of that. I think the first reason is the tip. It has a either 1.4 or 1.6 tip on it. And the output of it wasn't very well. So I try to slow down and build it up as I'm spraying it, but it's really not flowing out of the gun very well. And so the reason why it's performing poorly is, read the instructions on the gun, they want you to have 45 PSI going to the gun. So I dialed my compressor down to 45 PSI and it performed horribly. So now I just bumped the compressor up to 90 PSI and it's flowing a lot better. I was pretty happy with the coverage. Still could have used a bigger tip. Now, all you professionals out there, I was using a crisscross pattern. So first coat, I would go one direction, and the other coat, I would do like a crisscross. And then for the final coat, I would go back in the original direction. Give me some opinions on that, all you professionals out there. Is that an effective way, or should I always go in just one direction? All right, I laid this 3, or really 2, but I laid it on real thick. You probably saw that damage right there. Not damage, but the gun sputtered. That's the only thing I hate about the turbine sprayers, is there's any restriction in the line is going to sputter. I might do a flow coat on this, come back later, sand it down with some 800, and shoot some more clear on top of it, but we'll see how it lays down and what kind of imperfections it's got. But I'm leaving this booth enclosed until I come check it out whenever I get over here. All right, so this is 7 days later, and I really hurt myself because I didn't give this a lot of time to bake in. When I say bake in, I had the garage heater, I had the temperature at about 72, 73 degrees. But as soon as I finished spraying that last coat of clear, I had to hightail it out of here because I had to get my son. So that's a pretty bad mistake of trying to paint this and not having an adequate amount of time to kind of let this sit and bake at 72 degrees, because the ambient temperature outside that day was like 45. So as soon as I cut the heater off and I pulled the car in the garage, so temperature dropped from like 75 to, you know, whatever it would equal out to. So like not my best work, but you know, we got some trash on here. You can see like the little dust nibs. I'm not too concerned about the peel that's on it right now, because actually I'm gonna just do a flow coat. Oh, this is the spot that I was kind of worried about. Yeah, this run right here. The bad thing about that turbine spray, if there's any kink in the line, it's just going to like shoot out the material, like a big glob of it. And that kind of what happened right here. Wasn't able to really see it on the GoPro because I had a bad camera angle. And so I was trying to just use the air to kind of like push that little glob of clear around. And, you know, it didn't come out horrible, but I'm just going to flow coat this. I'm going to hit this with, sand it with 800, and then I'll come back over it with the clear. But before I do that, I'm going to do the underside of this. I'll flip this over, prime it, and spray it. All right, so we got this flipped over. I've already wiped it down with my wax and grease remover. I'm just gonna take my tack rag, wipe it over. I'll mix up the US Eliminator, the high build primer. I'm not gonna record that with my GoPro because that stuff is very sticky and it's hard to get off. I had a hard time getting off my lens the first time, so I'm not gonna record spraying that, but we'll show you the after as soon as we finish putting, we'll do 3 coats. We'll see how it looks after 2 coats. Maybe we'll do 3. All right, so things didn't go out the way I planned it to. I planned on recording, spraying. The GoPro did not charge. It's having some technical difficulties. But I can say, since I laid this on a lot thicker, I've got the temperature in the garage a lot higher, and this definitely has flowed and laid down better than the top side of the hood. So I'm not going to do it today, but I'm going to flow coat this, and if I can flow coat the top and it comes out to this, and I won't have to spend as much time sanding. A couple of issues with my PPE. My full face mask kind of just rubbed across this. It rubs here. I gotta figure out a better way to arrange my PPE when I'm spraying, because I'm like reaching across trying to get here and it's rubbing up against there. For the most part, I think I did a pretty good job on this. It's not a award-winning paint job by any means. I was thinking about blacking out this center section. I still might do it. I have time. I think it'll look nice, so I might take the time to do that. I don't know. I might use some, I don't know yet, so we'll kind of keep that on the back burner. But give me your thoughts. What do you think? Black center section or keep it all one color? For this, I'm not going to try to fix this properly. Once this thing cures, I'm just going to I'm going to sand it, rattle can that spot, and then just clear over it. All right, sorry for the background noise, but when
When I talk about a flow coat, this is kind of what I mean. So we have this section here. This was the condition that it was in after I sprayed it. We have some orange peel, we have some dust nubs, dirt, whatever you call it, dust nubs, dirt nubs. And what you do is you want to make the section that you clear flat. When I say flat, I mean you can see the difference of this matte color. So what I did is I took some 800 grit sandpaper and I blocked the clear section. Now the idea behind that is you just want to make the surface is, you're not cutting down to the base, you're just flattening out the clear coat. And so what you'll do is once you get everything nice and flat, you'll respray the clear over this once again. Now all you professionals out there who do this for a living, help me out on this. I am a YouTube university guy. I'm not a professional. I'm just doing this to kind of just show everybody out here in the community that with a little time and practice, a lot of this stuff that you might be afraid to do at home, you can do. You might make some mistakes, but that's part of the learning process. So if you take input from other people, if you don't let your pride get in your way, because you know you do have some of these people out here like, oh man, I've been a mechanic since the Model T was coming off the assembly line, and that's great. Nobody's taking away your experience, but technology's changed, techniques have changed, and sometimes if you just listen, you can learn a thing or two. So I'm all about getting input and not letting my pride get in the way to learn more. So hey, if you want to critique my technique on this, please do. I'm not a professional on this, but I do enjoy trying stuff on my own. So this is not totally flat. I have some spots, which I'm not going to worry about. I have the edges, which I'm not going to try to get perfect. Like I say, this is not a show car, and so I'm not going to treat it as such, but I do want this to look nice. So we're going to continue to block sand down this hood, and then once we finish that, we'll get into mixing some clear and spraying.
All right, shout out to my man John Coates who put me up on this Scuff It from 3M. So I'm using a Scotch Brite pad with a hard block, and the purpose behind this is I talked about when I flow coated, I used a 800 grit sandpaper and a hard block, and it would level off the surfaces, but you still had these like little pits that the hard block wouldn't get to. So the Scotch Brite will get in those pits and help prep the surface even better for my clear.
All right, so now we want to get all this scuff paste off of here. So I've been sanding, and this is kind of like a 2-in-1 step for me because I want to get water on this ground to keep whatever dust that I might spray from kicking up. All right, so we have some spots where I lack of preparation caused an issue. You can see that right there. It's one. Here's another spot right here. Right here. Right here. So instead of me getting the paint gun out and trying to fix this, I'm just going to use some base, just dab it right there and clear over it.
All right, we're getting ready to shoot the clear, and let's talk about clear coat. I've used, first time I sprayed this car, I used this company called Tamco. It was a high build Euro clear. Second time I sprayed the car, I used a more budget clear coat. It was still a high build clear coat from a company called Speedo Coat. Now this time I went with a company called High Tech. Now from my understanding, High Tech does not manufacture any paint. They are just a relabeling brand. So they would go to a company like PPG and buy their clear and just relabel it. And actually the base that I use is from High Tech also. This first coat, I'm just kind of taking my time trying to lay it down a little thick. I struggle with keeping the gun in the same position. I don't know how you professionals do it, but this is very fatiguing. So this is the second coat, and I gotta say, I really started struggling with this second coat. To be honest with you, a lot of it was fatigue. A big shout out to the professionals who do this all day. You know, trying to keep that gun in the correct position, the moving from side to side. If you're not used to using those muscles, it can get very fatiguing. Also, I was having some issues with my PPE. This is a face-powered respirator, and I've used it every time I've sprayed this car, but it's kind of clogging now, so it's not. I was having issues with the fresh air feeding through the hose, or I don't know if the mask has just gotten clogged from overusage and me not taking proper care of it. But these things work great when they're in good condition. Like I said, I've used it, this will be the third time. And, you know, even in this, you know, dust-filled clear coat room, I had very good airflow when it was working properly, but I think it was just getting clogged from the lack of maintenance with this. This is the last coat, and I did a time lapse on this, and I think the one biggest thing for me doing this is really building up the muscle memory on keeping the gun in the correct position and how fast I'm doing my sweeps. Going forward, that's something I got to work on, and also just paying attention to how much material I have left. That's something I have to work on also.
So I have to say, this is my third or fourth time painting the car. This is probably my best work. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. Does it have some appeal to it? Yeah. Like there's some spots. It's kind of hard to get on film, but you know, it's still running, it's crying. The good thing is the spots that I thought was going to be a problem, I covered it up and turned out good. But we have some areas like here, you can see that peel. I'm not sure why the rest of the car doesn't have peel. My guess is maybe I was getting a draft from over here, or maybe I just didn't lay this down thick enough. But yeah, here's some runs, got a little bit too happy over here, but you know, for the most part, all this can be corrected. You know, it might take a little bit more elbow grease to get this peel out of the paint job, but I've had it worse and taken it out. I'm not gonna lie, it looks good. It can be deceiving when you see paint jobs online and it looks immaculate, but you know, you see it in person, you can see the flaws. And I'm not gonna lie, this thing has flaws. It's got nibs in it. This is where I didn't prep it properly. Once I wet sand it, I'm gonna use the Trizac system, 15, 3000, is it 5000 or 8000? I don't remember. But once I do that, then this thing is gonna look immaculate. Not that it won't have defects, it's still gonna have some defects. But, you know, once I wet sand it and polish it, it's gonna look like new money. And by me doing a better job spraying it, it's less elbow room that I got. elbow grease I have to put into it to get a better finished product. So I think the flow coat helped out a lot, but you know, it's still something in my technique that I'm doing where I still get the orange peel. I still get that orange peel. I'm not a professional, so hopefully all the video in the GoPro is going to download, and if you watch this full video, you can correct me on some mistakes I was possibly doing. But I'm not a pro at this, like I said. I just kind of want to do this stuff just to A, just test my skills, and B, just show people that it's okay to try this stuff and it's okay to fail doing this stuff, especially if, you know, you're into modding your car yourself, and, you know, if you want to do your work yourself, give it a try. You know, the worst thing that could have happened with this is I could have destroyed it, and I just would have had to take it someplace to get it fixed. Now, how much it costs material-wise, I think that high-tech clear was $75. The base, probably around the same, so $300 I would guess, plus my time. The time is the one thing you can't get back, so that's probably more valuable than the money that I spent. But hey, I'm all for this DIY life. Don't be afraid to try this stuff. We have a new edge over here that we're going to do the old school recession buster on. I've got one of the blocks over there someplace. The other block is wrapped up in the basement, but we're going to do the iron block first, recession buster, and then we're going to do the 4-valve recession buster. So we got some new edge content coming for y'all. It's winter time, so you really can't do any driving content, but first, probably real driving content you'll have out of this channel is at Ponies in the Smoky, which is March 20th, I believe. We'll have the red car down that English dragway doing some pulls. So hey, if you're interested in that stuff, hit the bell notification, tell a couple of people about the channel, and until next time, God bless.